Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fleekazoid podcast. So today's podcast is going to be about how I basically relapsed back into the arms of the Scorpio. And it's literally so fresh and so recent. Hey, I never said I was perfect, okay? I'm a human just like all of y'all. I never said that I was the block doc. Now, the podcast topic is going to be about when you're in a situationship, how do you actually get out of it? Like, how do you just like either end it or push it forward? And ultimately, this is going to be about how most of the time it's probably going to end because you don't find yourself in a situationship with somebody who wants a relationship with you. So it is going to be personal, but there's also going to be a lesson to take away from today's podcast. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Now, I am in this period of my life where I am confused, where I need people to lean on. I need love, I need support, and I need people who I feel like know more than me. And because of that, yes, I let the Scorpio back into my life. And if you've been watching my live streams and you've seen my TikToks, you kind of have an idea, like you knew, or you have an idea of it. And, I'm making this at literally 3:39 in the morning because, I just came back from his place and I just had a thought. And I'm saying this because, it's fresh, right? But I was there kind of like telling him that I like him. I want to like him. I wish he would let me like him. And he's telling me left, right, up, and down that that's not he's not a relationship guy. That he literally has nothing to offer in a relationship and that he can barely take care of himself. And there was this moment when I was like, so he's describing a loser. He was using his pizza crust being left out as an example, his messy plays, all these things about him. He's describing a loser. And I was like, so that's what it is. And I know that's really cut, dry, and mean, but dead ass. He didn't like it, but I'm like, that's synonymous with loser. And then as I was leaving his place, I had to ask myself the question. I'm sitting there telling him how I feel about him because I want him to tell me how he feels about me. And he's telling me he doesn't have any thoughts. He's not thinking anything. He doesn't feel anything. And this is getting really personal, but a lot of the reason why I'm not going out with my family to Vermont is because the Scorpio was like, you cannot do that. You cannot leave Florida. You can figure this out in 3 days if you wanted to. So in a way, he did save my life, right? He did it very accidentally. He was the only one who was going to tell it to me exactly like I needed to hear it. But people can be more than one thing at once. And right now, he's this guy who knows that I am lonely, I am scared, I am dealing with separation and grief and loss, and I am looking for a life raft. I'm looking for a piece of wood to just grab onto in this fucking life that is an ocean to me right now. And he's he turned it into a situationship. And so much of that is Fleeksy. You participate in it, right? You allowed the doors to open and turn into that. Yeah, but if I had a lot of nice things going on for me right now, would it be even an opportunity to consider? Would it be even something that I would have allowed in my life? I don't know. And, he might know that as well. But to me, I just feel so stuck on feeling oh my God, this is a person who knows me. This is a person who wants what's best for me. This is a person who feels good to have in my life. Until I realize, I want love. I want a relationship. I want something with depth. I want something that meets my needs. It's nice that this is a person who doesn't want me to fall down the gutter, but, I actually want a relationship. I don't want to just fuck. And maybe it's me being naive, but I don't understand how you can care about somebody or see a certain level of humanity, but also not have the capacity within you to be more than something. I don't know. Maybe there are things that I have to learn, or maybe I'm so thick in the emotions of it. But that's a new reality to me, right? That somebody could see how much I need a certain level of help, but still just want to keep me at that arm's length emotionally, or they'll just never have it in them to be that type of person. But so it's also confusing too, because when I see that person, there are ways that I do feel connected to them. So it's just weird. It's confusing. And so many of you guys are probably wondering, what the fuck did he do or say to you that got you like this? But anyways, back to the story of what happened tonight. I got back in my car and I had to realize it's not about how he feels about me. It's about how I feel about me. And I feel like I'm worth a relationship. And I think I keep finding myself into these situations because I'm sitting there I want him to validate me. I want a man to like tell me how they feel about me so I can have permission to feel these things about me. But it's like, no, I feel like I'm worth a relationship. And I don't need a man to tell me that about myself, right? Before I decide now's the time to remove myself. Another situation kind of plays into this too. Long story short, when me and the Scorpio opened the floodgates back up in late July to this, whatever happening, I sleep over his place. He says you can stay. He jokes about me cleaning his place. I tell him I'll actually do it if he pays me. We agree to a payment. And as I'm cleaning his place, I find a golden hoop and a scrunchie. And, at the time I laughed about it because I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen this guy in like 6 months. It's really like not my place to say anything or do anything, but I'll leave it somewhere that makes it obvious that I know. And I'm just going to not say anything. Like, I think that'll be funny. And it was funny. Like, we went on the live stream and we laughed about it. But I went to his place tonight, which, for the people watching from the future, it's basically like 2 to 3 weeks later. And when I went back, it wasn't where I left it. It was in a completely new spot. And I had the thought that like, dude, you knew I was coming over to your place and you kept this out in the open. Like, you didn't even anticipate me having a negative reaction. You didn't think about how that would make me feel. Like, are you saving it for her so she can come back? Are you fucking with other people? Like, I don't know. Like, it brought back these feelings of like, you know what? It does matter to me if somebody is like maintaining something or keeping something, or even if they're just not even anticipating like my presence, right? If they're not even excited about it. I'm like sitting over here thinking like, oh, I gotta make sure I'm cute. I gotta make sure I'm this and that. And he can't even throw away a scrunchie and an earring. And even when I got there, I just kind of like let it go for a little bit. And then I realized, no, like when I get excited to see someone, like I care about stuff like this. Like, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel like I'm thinking about them or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't leave something out of a guy's. Like, if another guy was coming over, I just feel like, what the fuck? Like, I would at least try to hide it. At least put it in the fucking trash. Like, why are we keeping this? Anyways, so I'm sitting there trying to, like, figure out how this guy feels about me. And it's like, you know what? He's not giving me anything. At all, period. He's not telling me anything. And in fact, there's even like a physical distance element. And he's just asking me if I'm breaking up with him. And I just think like, where's the enthusiasm? Where's the excitement? Like, there's no depth to this. Eventually, we have to remove ourselves from these situationships by asking ourselves, like, how the fuck do I feel about me? What, like, fuck this guy. How do I feel? Like, no, I feel like I don't want to be invited over at midnight. I feel like I don't want to just fuck. I feel like I don't want to be with someone who doesn't get excited to see me. I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't anticipate that I'm coming and that I might be disturbed by something that's left out. I want someone who has foresight over my, mental reactions. There are a lot of things that I want, right? And there are things that I think that I am worth. And that's how I feel about myself. And eventually I have to say, fuck this guy, fuck this whatever sandwich that he's offering me. Maybe him telling me that like I can't move and I shouldn't, and just being disappointed that I wasn't tapping into my potential. I think that was a very universal feeling. It wasn't unique to him. He just happened to be the voice that like spoke to me because you know what? I valued it because I wouldn't have blocked him and I wouldn't have done all those things if I didn't care or like appreciate him to a certain degree. So congratulations. Y'all, some of y'all were so supportive and so nice. And I think you guys just wanted me to be happy and you didn't want to agonize me over a situation that I couldn't control. But he did. And I think he served his purpose. So I share this because I think if you are a person who's getting in situationships, or if you are a person who is dealing with somebody who makes you feel confused, once you sit there and you press them by telling them what you want, what you need, what you're looking for from them, if they feel like it's a breakup, girl, it's not a breakup, right? It's an opportunity to rise to the standard. It's not you saying, hey, like, get out of my life. It's saying, this is the way that I would like to have you in my life. And if they're treating it like you're ending everything, hello, it's only because you're not tolerating whatever they're offering you. If none of your needs are being met and you just have somebody who is wanting you to meet all of their needs and asking you to disregard your own, that's not a relationship. That's a dictatorship. And you cannot change this person. And by them wanting you to be in this like situationship box and maybe just like biding their time and doing whatever they have to do and say to get you to that place where they can just hit it and smash and get the little ego boost that they want, that's them changing you. That's them being like, hey, maybe I can get this person to be who I want them to be. Maybe I can get them to be the person that I would benefit the most from. And that's the difference between you and that person when you're in the situationship box. You're like, I like you, I respect you, I want to have your approval. And they don't care about your approval. In fact, they might know that you're eager for it. They're willing to take advantage of that. They don't give a fuck if you're like feeling empty, or if you're driving home feeling sad, or if you're like going through feelings of heartbreak. And these situationships end the second that you're like, hey, I actually like you. I actually want a relationship. I want something consistent. I want to be on a schedule. I don't want to be out here at midnight running around. I would like to see you more than once a week or once a month. Once you actually start to assert yourself in any capacity, these people leave. Some of you guys have said that these people will block you. And, when they do, it's kind of like that Justin Bieber song, like, if I can't have the most of you, I would rather have the ghost of you. It's a lot easier to live with their absence than it is to live with them being unfulfilling and not meeting any of your needs, and actively changing yours and invalidating your needs by giving you reasons why they won't be able to meet them, like, I'm not relationship material, or I've never held a girlfriend before, or look at the way I live my life. Scorpio pointing around at his very messy apartment and using that as a reason why he's not dateable. And even tonight with the Scorpio, I'm sitting there like, what do you think about me? How do you feel about me? What are you thinking right now? And he's giving me the magic conch responses, right? He's literally telling me nothing. Dead ass. He was like, I'm not thinking anything. I'm not feeling anything. I don't have anything in my mind. Okay, congratulations. Like, wrong fucking answer. Because if I'm out here telling you these things that are like, I would like a deeper connection, or I would like to have something that is stronger than what this is now. I'm not saying I want to get rid of you. Like, I'm saying I want more, and you're interpreting that as, are you breaking up with me? Then yeah, like, you are trying to dismiss the fact that I have needs and that I have things that I want from a relationship. And officially, now it's like, you know what? I'm trying to gauge where he's at, but it's like, no, I know exactly where I'm at. These people will tell you that they will not meet your needs. These people will give you the opportunity to acknowledge it. And if you stay around, they'll think that that's permission for them to be that way, which it's not. It's you kind of being hopeful and wishing that things will change. There's no need to change somebody, though. That's coercion. It has no place in a healthy relationship. And the people who care about you will be so excited that you will want that with them and from them. It's not even going to be a question of if they can even rise to it. And the funny thing about situationships is that it's never the guy who is trying to convince you to be this hookup or convince you to come over at midnight who's scared to tell you exactly what he wants. It's the person who actually wants the relationship. It's the person who's looking for depth. It's the person who's looking for emotion, who's scared. Because they think, no, I just need to lay off their back and eventually they'll change. When really, once you assert yourself and what you want, yeah, they'll change, all right. They'll change and take that shit to someone else. They'll stop bothering you. That's going to be the major change, which is actually a blessing. The nicest thing that somebody can do when they're not aligned with what you want and they're never going to give it to you is fuck off. Okay, sorry, that's blunt, but literally they need to leave you alone. And a lot of these people are kind of assholes. Like, they'll justify the fact that they keep doing what they're doing to you by the fact that you keep accepting it. They're like, okay, well, if you felt so strongly about it, then why do you keep picking up the phone? Well, why do you keep answering? Because we want to see the good in them. They're weaponizing the fact that we want to see the good in them. They just do not care about what you actually want for yourself. Like, their mission in life is literally to only meet whatever they want for themselves. And yeah, it's never the person who wants the relationship that feels that way. But the second that you do and you say, you know what, I'm worth a relationship. I'm worth love. I'm worth trust. I'm worth being excited about. I'm worth being put on a schedule. I'm worth 24 hours in advance. Like, once you start to say all that shit, yeah, they'll buzz right off, as they should. And that's how some of you guys have gotten blocked, and I'm really sorry about that. Or you might end up with the other type of demon who will just think, you know what, I'm just going to keep approaching them with that situation. And as long as they keep saying yes to it, I'm not the bad guy because I'm asking them a yes or no question. And to them, in their mind, by approaching you with that, that's not them saying that they're coming back ready to change. That's them saying, hey, are you ready to accept the shit sandwich that I've been giving you for the last however so many weeks, months, or maybe even years for some of you guys? Yeah, they really like what they got with you. And, they know the fact that you're willing to see the good in them. They're willing to play into that if it means that they can get that ooh na na just one last time, which is very unfortunate. Because you would think that they would understand that, being very clear and blunt and honest about your intentions and desires is a boundary that you would like them to meet, but that they will never meet because they'll just keep asserting the fact that they're not relationship material. Yeah, you would think that that would be their chance to recognize that and find someone else to do that with. But no, it's actually kind of hard, honestly, to find people who want to deal with that level of stupidity. When I say stupidity, I mean their stupidity, right? Like, you're already there. You already like them. The hard work has been done. No, they don't want to find that with anybody else, especially when you see so much good in them already. It takes so much to get to that point for some people. It's just so much easier to keep coming back to you, especially when they're getting value from you. We brought this up in the other podcast that I made the other week. I believe it was the one called How to Recognize Your Own Needs. Like, when you feel like you have needs that you don't even realize that you have. These people are getting their needs met through you in ways that you don't even understand. Like, yeah, there's value in having someone that loves you when you don't love them back. There's value in someone who rejects you, specifically you being like, hey, I'm actually worth love and you're never going to give it to me. Goodbye. Yeah, there's value in being able to be like, I got them back. I can feel good about myself again. Like, there's usually like a self-esteem issue happening here, but you're providing something to them that you might not even know that they're cherishing, but it's not on the tier of, this is a long-term relationship. This is something that's going to have, depth to my life. It has a different level of depth to them. For me, in my situation, I can tell that the Scorpio has a very stressful life and he does not go on vacations. So what's a better vacation than a pretty girl showing up to your place and listening to all your dumbass problems? You know what? Okay, dumbass is mean. But he tells me a lot of his problems, and right now I'm going through my own, and it just feels like a lot of negativity. Before I used to think like, wow, it's like so interesting that he has these things going on, and this is the world that he lives in. And, I just want to be a part of it so bad. And now I'm like, I'm trying so hard to create my own world. And there are things that are happening that, like, I'm excited about, like my new job and this place that I'm trying to get on my own, like all these things that I'm doing that are big and huge. And it didn't really hit me that it wasn't being celebrated by him the way that it should be until like I opened up to my coworkers, my brand new coworkers, that this is what I'm doing. And they're like, hey, like, we'll be your new family. Hey, what you're doing is huge and it's such a big thing. And like, you should be proud of yourself. I'm not getting that from him. In fact, he looks like exhausted when I share like the little things to his face. Like, I don't know. A lot of it is like, I can come to him for help, but I can't share the like happiness. It's weird. So yeah, eventually you have to ask yourself, what am I worth? Like, fuck what these people feel like they want to give me, right? What do I know that I want? What do I know that I deserve? And the person who's meant for you, they're going to see that and they're going to be so excited to appreciate it the way that you know that you have it in you to be appreciated. So that's how you're going to get out of a situationship, by saying, this is what I want. This is where I am. I know exactly how I feel. Not even pressuring them. It's going to feel like pressure to them, but saying, hey, tell me how you feel. And when they're literally giving you nothing, telling you nothing, or they're even outright telling you, I am not relationship material, that's your cue to realize, hey, my dream person, or like the thing that I'm going to have in my life, like, they're going to know how they feel about me. They're going to be excited about me. they're going to be hyped that like, I want this with them. Yeah, that's your cue to know that that's not your person. So yeah, you get out of the situationship by getting rid of the person who put you in it. And no, it wasn't you. It was the person who saw you, saw your value, and said, you know what? This is about as much of it that I want to get. This is just the right amount of value for me, and I'm not going to give any back. In fact, you know what? I'll give breadcrumbs. I'll make it like semi-rewarding to be with me every now and then. But for the most part, I'm going to be a big piece of shit. And I say a big piece of shit because they're going to know exactly what you want, and they're still going to keep feeding you whatever the hell they think that they can just to keep you coming back, but not enough to actually keep you satisfied. And look, let's take a little bit of self-responsibility. I know for myself, there's a feeling of like fantasy and euphoria about this type of person eventually being what I want them to be, eventually coming around and giving me what I think I'm worth or what I deserve. But it gets to a place where it's not even heartbreak and it's just disappointment. And you have to realize that this is a person who either does not have the capacity or they are just looking for something at that level. And that's where they're going to be their entire life. Like literally people can stay this way until they're in their 60s. So how long do you want to be a part of it? A week, a month, a year, 3 years, 5 years? Some people literally do it for decades with the same person. Let's not do that to ourselves. So as the unwise Big Sean once said, the question isn't do he love you? The question is do you love yourself? You give the best advice to your friends and never take it for yourself. So it's never going to be easy to deal with separation and heartbreak and loss, but it is a lot harder to be a part of something that does not align with your values and what you actually want for yourself and where you are mentally. And it is a lot more painful to live with something that is unfulfilling, that leaves you feeling empty and drained physically and emotionally. And the emotions of confusion, the emotions of I don't get it, they're trying to tell you something. And what they're telling you is that the person who is for you, they're going to make sure you get it. The person who likes you, they're going to make sure there's absolutely no confusion. If you have to sit there and pull teeth and be like, tell me how you feel about me, tell me what you think about me, guess what? When they tell you that they're feeling nothing and they're thinking nothing, they mean it. Believe it. And just because, you know, sometimes you can get a cuddle out of them or a sweet text here, or maybe you feel like there are glimpses where they see your humanity, consistency is what matters. And these are the type of things that if you did actually have this person, this is the type of stuff that would end a marriage. And I was joking about this with my friend on TikTok in the comments today, Amber Killer. She says, this is the type of stuff that prevents marriages, hopefully. And I agree. So it's definitely not going to be easy to advocate for yourself, especially if you've never done it before. But once you do, you will feel better and you will feel that sense of self-respect. It doesn't mean that you're not going to miss them or that you're not going to think they're cute or that you're not going to crave them in some capacity. But it does mean that you are aware of what you want and you are aware of the fact that that is a person who will never give it to you. Like, you are acknowledging the fact that they will never give it to you. And a part of that acknowledgement is saying, like, I'm not going to try to change this person. I'm just going to let them find someone else to do this with. If this person is a big empty ego hole that needs to be filled with bodies or late night text messages or just people to exploit, remove yourself from that list because honestly, we're better than that. So have that conversation with yourself. It's not about how he feels about me. It's about how I feel about me. And how I feel about me is that I am worth a relationship. And with that, I am going to end today's podcast. I hope you guys liked it. Sorry that this one was personal. I know there's probably a lot of questions about how we got here and why and what led me back to the situation, like what's the specific details. If you watch my live streams, girl, I know you've seen it all. But hey, I know the episode's over, but quick tidbit. Give yourself some compassion if you're like me, because I think that's the only thing that you can do if you're somebody who's going in and out of these revolving doors. And I think there's usually a reason why we're doing it, because I think if we were living the best life that we absolutely could, we wouldn't be like going back to these people who don't give us what we want or need. I hope you guys all have a good day. If you do like my stuff, guess what? Yeah, I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok and I'm on Twitter and I have my multiple YouTube channels and I am on Patreon where I upload these podcasts and all my stuff whenever I have something brand new to share. Also, if you want to support me, you can do so by sending me 5 stars and a positive comment if you're watching me from Apple. And if you like my content and you want to support me monetarily, you can do so by sending me $2 on Patreon, which I think would be super cool. Also, hey, I upload these onto YouTube and I love the feedback that you guys leave me on the individual episodes. It's also another place to watch me, especially if you have YouTube Red. It's like, oh my God, another place to enjoy the podcast. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much the podcast today. I hope you guys all have a good day. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.